a friend of mine who is a business coach and is challenging himself to do a Facebook post every day, yesterday posted something I thought was really interesting. He has been watching these videos, which I've also seen, of this very attractive, slim young blonde woman who is swimming with tiger sharks. And she is showing people how by pushing on their snout or rubbing their belly, she can direct them away from her. And he asked what everyone thought of that. And since I'm both a licensed scuba diver and a business person, and I think this has a lot of business application, I thought I might respond to that. So my first response at watching her redirecting these massive predators is, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, seriously, lady, you need another hobby, because she and every other human being is outclassed in every measurable metric by a 12-foot tiger shark. Strength, speed, agility, raw power, aggressive predatory instinct, and numbers of sharp, pointy teeth. Any confrontation, she will come out on the losing end. She confidently interacts very closely with these animals and directs them away and shows how, so far, that has worked for her. But her control of these animals is an illusion. She has no control over them at all. They are allowing themselves to be redirected away from her for one reason and one reason only. And that is, at that given moment, they feel like it. Because the minute they don't feel like it, she's fixing to have a really bad day. She can redirect that shark because he doesn't have anything better to do. But the minute she goes to push his snout away and he's not feeling the love, and his response is, yeah, not today, sister, that woman is going to die. And the reason that that troubles me is that it seems like a completely unnecessary, truly epically dangerous risk without any discernible benefit that I can see. I can think of two scenarios in which that information might be useful to me. The first is, I'm innocently scuba diving along and realize there's a very large shark looking at me on an intercept course. Well, at that point, like, have at it. Try redirecting it. You probably don't have anything to lose. The other scenario is if my child, my husband, someone I love dearly, has fallen into the water and there are sharks, would I throw myself in to try to keep the sharks away and save them, knowing that it might very well cost me my life? Well, I probably would, and you probably would too. Outside of that, my rule is stay as far away from the sharks as possible. I don't see any upside to taking that risk. Now, in your personal behavior, maybe that's fine. You make that choice for yourself. But the reason I really made a lot of business connections to this is I know Craig is a business coach, and I've been in business for 30 years. And I thought, this is how a lot of people run their businesses. They run them on an adrenaline rush. They run them on the risk and the excitement, and they think that that's a great way to run a business. Well, I'll tell you, they're right. Fortune may favor the bold, but epic disaster favors the impulsive and the ill-prepared. In your business, you're going to have to take risks all the time. And they should challenge you and they should stretch you. But look out for the sharks. You don't want to take business risks that are totally unnecessary or that will be disastrous if they don't work out the way that you hope they will. And that isn't very sexy or very exciting. I run a multi-million-dollar heavy construction company, and I have for 30 years. It's a rough business. It's a almost completely male-dominated industry. Construction is risky, it's difficult, it's challenging. But it's also very profitable if you do it right. I joke with people that in my company, I'm the CEO, I'm the chief executive officer. I had 30,000-foot oversight over everything. I'm the CFO, the chief financial officer. Every penny that goes through that business goes across my desk at some point. I monitor it, I disperse it, I verify that it is exactly where I wanted it to be. But I'm also the CPO. I am the chief paranoia officer. My primary job is to run around my business all day long, and everything I look at, I ask myself two questions. The first one is that going to cost me money? And the second one is, can I get sued for that? And at the end of the day, if the answer to both of those questions is no, I'm a happy camper. That's what business is. That's not always exciting. I was going to make this video last night, but I was too tired when I got home in the dark, in the snow, late. And do you know why? Because as the owner of this company, the CEO, the top dog, the girl in charge, after everybody else went home and it was dark and it is snowing outside and getting colder and the roads are getting slicker and slicker, I was sitting at my computer, and there's a reason for that. I had been in and out of the office multiple days over the holidays, and I wanted to make sure everything was as it should be. So I was sitting in front of my computer with my accounting program open on one screen and my bank account open on the other screen. And I was matching transaction for transaction for transaction. I was hitting the hot links on the checks to make sure they hadn't been altered, that the checks matched what was in my records, that my signature was on them. And frankly, if there's any question about that, I get in the safe and I find the hard copies that I make after every Monday when I handle all of the accounts payable, the payables, the receivables, run payroll. I can verify all those things because nobody can touch my written records. You want to know why I do all those things? Why I'm the CPO? Because my company got embezzled for likely over $1 million. I sent my sweet little friend, my accountant, to the federal penitentiary for 33 months. I know what a shark in the accounting office can do. So I sit there in the dark, in the cold, and I go through the records and verify checks. That is not exciting. There's no adrenaline involved. But it's why my business has been here for 30 years. Do you know what other things are not an adrenaline rush? Most of the parts of running a business, the stuff that will keep it solid, is often kind of boring. You can talk about the, going after the big stuff and all of the thrill and taking the risks, but the stuff that will keep your business open tomorrow isn't that exciting. I've got news for you. Making $1 million isn't that hard. And a lot of the people watching this video have the ability to do that. The hard part is, number one, to make sure that your business is still there to make $1 million next year. And number two, that you didn't spend $1.1 million keeping it in business. To do those things, as exciting as they are, you have to be willing to do things like sit down and assess your business insurance. Do you have adequate coverage? Do you have coverage for all the things you should have coverage for? Are you using a personal vehicle for business purposes? If you are, you probably don't have coverage if there's a business-related accident. Have you met with your attorney? Do you know that your corporate structure, your business is operating legally as it should? Do you have employees? Are they being paid properly? Are your payroll taxes and obligations being taken care of? Do you have an employee manual that addresses all of the legally required employment laws? Do you have a CPA? looking at your taxes and your other payment obligations, making sure that your books balance, that everything is entered properly, that all of your taxes are filed timely and correctly. None of this is exciting. None of it is the stuff that dreams are made of, but it's the stuff that successful businesses are built on. Really successful business owners don't go swim with the sharks. They stay away from them. No matter what their field of expertise is, really successful business owners are universally experts in looking for risk, assessing risk, looking at how to either avoid it or mitigate it. That's why their businesses last. And if you want to have a successful business, don't go out and swim with the sharks. Go swim with the sea turtles. Avoid the sharks. If there are sharks in the area, figure out how to deal with them. Do the boring stuff. Look at your accounting records. Evaluate your insurance. Work with your CPA. Make sure the taxes are paid. Do the boring stuff that is required, because then at the end of the year, when you go over everything with your accountant and you realize that you're going to write a tax check big enough to buy a house with, and the reason for that is your business was really, really profitable. Well, that's pretty exciting. I like that. I'm going in to do that tomorrow. I will write a tax check for a staggering amount of money because I do all the other boring stuff and my business is successful. I've learned how to watch what's going on. After I was embezzled, I couldn't find any good information for small businesses to control their accounting processes. So I developed my own system. I wrote a book about it, and I lecture about small business owners mitigating and preventing their fraud risk, because I know how risky that can be. I almost lost my home to the IRS, even though the woman who stole the money was sitting in a federal prison. You have to be able to control business risks, and if you do that, you have the ability to build a successful business. I always tell people that when I started out in business, I kept my guns in the gun safe and my checks in the desk drawer. But now that I've lost $1 million, I keep my checks in the gun safe and my gun in the desk drawer, and I sleep a lot better. And then everybody laughs till they realize that I'm kidding. But I sleep well, and I hope you will too. Have fun running your business.